All right, all right. Hey guys, what's happening? Welcome to the show. My name's Chris Huckis, and this is your best life defined. How you doing today? That's the most important question. How are you doing today? I'm doing good. I woke up this morning energized, excited. And I have reason to be. I've got all kinds of unfinished projects going on. I'm second draft on a long ass book that I wrote. Just one of those things. Just trying to do what other people aren't doing. I'm showing back up here. It's been a while since I was here. Um, Trying to learn some AutoCAD or trying to get some drawings done. I'm trying to get a thing that I built for jujitsu drawn and possibly start manufacturing it. It should be a good thing. I think it's going to work. It's been working for me for quite a while. Other things going on. Always working on my relationship. Always working on me and my wife, making sure that we don't get stagnant, that we don't allow ourselves to fall into some sort of terrible ideas or bad ideas about shit. What about you? What about you? Are you rocking and rolling it in your life? I certainly hope so. And of course, if you're not, like a lot of the guys that I've dealt with, a lot of people I talk to on a regular basis, the issue comes down to this one. Well, I'd really like to change it, but I don't know how. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. And what's cool is we're going to be able to apply it to, well, to pretty much anything that you would want to do. And that is, of course, that's the cool part about it, right? So let's go ahead and dig into this thing. We're going to talk about relationships first and how to apply this and how you become the most important part of that success in your relationship and how to execute. We're going to talk about how this applies to our employment and our outside life. And then, of course, we're going to talk about the kids. I'll talk about the kids too. And then we're going to talk about the distractions. No, I don't mean to yell at you. I don't mean to, but it's just, it's kind of like, and of course, maybe maybe my thinking's a little skewed because in my mind, right? In my mind, it's just so easy. It's just so easy, right? Having a great relationship, it's easy. Well, as soon as you figure out what it takes to have a great relationship, right? There's the problem. Think about it. We get into these relationships and we think to ourselves, well, yeah, we're good. I'm good. And we get into these relationships and we don't actually have any real training. And the training we do have oftentimes isn't that great. I mean, think about it. You learn your relationships from the people around you, from your mom and dad, mostly the social. But that doesn't account for your selfishness or the little characteristics that you develop as a child and you are able to get away with, right? You're kind of a little bit spoiled, kind of selfish. That's kind of hard on a relationship. And yet, what do? Well, we accept it. I do. I love my wife. Yeah, I do. I love my wife. That's about as far as it gets. But when you actually think about what needs to be done in order to create an amazing relationship, it starts with you. It starts with you. What is a relationship? A relationship is a commitment from one person between two people where they are committed to each other based on a common attraction. They kind of like each other. That's the premise of it, right? So if you want to have a great relationship, become a great person, become a better version of yourself, become that kind of person where they're going, I think you're pretty damn interesting. Pretty interesting. What would happen if you just started working out? You say, listen, I'm going to work out. And of course, if they say, well, no, I don't want to work out. I'm not working out. I work hard enough. I ain't working out. That's okay. Start with you. Start becoming amazing. Start being funner. Just be more fun. Be that person where people are like, oh my God, she made me laugh, right? And they get excited and they smile. Just be a better person. You know what your partner's going to do? When you start becoming more attractive to the world around you, he or she is going to be looking at you going, oh, right? It all starts with you. And the struggle that we face, of course, is the other side of that is the three sides of the coin. There are three sides to a relationship that we don't acknowledge, or a lot of people don't even know anything about. And that is there's the you, there's the them, that is your partner, and then there's what happens when you come together. And another big mistake we make is that we somehow or another, we get this idea in our head that because we're in a relationship now, we get to change them. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Well, think about it. Why would you fall in love with this person because they're fun and they're spontaneous and yeah. And then the first thing we do, you ain't fishing. You ain't fishing anymore. Oh yeah. Oh no, night out with the girls. Yeah. Of course, I know all about that. How do you change that? Again, it starts with you. You have a conversation. You say, hey, listen, how about we go walk so we can talk about not where we are, but where we're going? Because that's the other issue, right? If you don't have any place to go, you're not going to get there. And if you actually take a pencil and a piece of paper, or maybe your phone or whatever you use, and just list all of the things you're doing right now to improve your relationship, you're going to find out that the list is actually probably going to be pretty short. I mean, and it doesn't include, or it shouldn't include, things like, well, I'm not yelling at her anymore. I'm not yelling nearly as much as I used to. I can tell you that right now. 3 steps. You're going to hear that a lot. 3 simple steps. I told you. Where the hell does it start? Tell me about it. Where do you think you're improving your life, your work life starts? Starts at the same place as your relationship. Starts with you. Starts with your thinking in that case, and most of it does. It starts with our thinking. What we keep in our mind, what we look at and we focus on every day becomes that thing that we do. If you're a Trumpster, a diehard Trumpster, and your heart is full of anger and you're pissed off at everybody and he's the only one that's going to save the world, I guarantee that's the person you're going to become, right? I got friends out there, Fax Porcupine and other podcasters, and they're listening to me, and he tells me that he goes, you're just a nice guy. Well, and I bring it back to you. It's easy to be nice when you know why you're being nice. It's easy. Just being nice. I just like it. There's too many things going on in my life for me to be sad about too much. I got too much fuel in my tank. Because they talking too much. How does this apply to your work? Well, think about it. Why are you working right now? Well, and the reason most of us are working is to pay the bills. We got to pay the bills. And of course, that question is not a real good reason, right? You're working to pay bills. Have you ever paid bills? Why don't you change the reason you're working? And it starts with you. Why don't you change the reason you're working? Change the reason, because you're paying bills to be debt-free. And of course, the mandate is that it's to be debt-free. It's not just to pay bills. It's I'm going to work to be debt-free. In fact, hey, boss, can I get some overtime? Hey, boss, can you teach me everything you know about managing so I can move to a store down that new store they're building and I can actually be the manager and make more money, and then I can pay my bills off? That would be cool, right? Change the reason. Hey, boss, listen, I'm not making as much money as you. How much money do you make? Well, I make $60,000. Oh my God, you make $30,000 more a year than me and your manager. And we're friends. Can you teach me everything you need to know? I'll come in every day. I'll do your work too. I'm excited. How do I know about this? Well, I started school. I worked a full-time job doing concrete. I started school, 18 credit hours a semester, and I volunteered 16 hours at a sheriff's department. Why? Because I talked myself into a frenzy about how great it was going to be when I got out of construction and I started making all that money. Got that insurance. My family would never have to be poor again. And of course, guess what? It worked. And how did it start? It started by me waking up every day, reminding myself of the reason I work, the reason I'm working so hard, and I could see it. And of course, because you can see it, you can be it, right? That's the other equation. But that didn't start with my wife. It didn't start with my dad. It didn't start with my kids. That decision to endure, and of course the struggle, is a big part of it. But the decision to go that hard and make such a dynamic change in your life does a couple things. Number one, it solidified my ability to do anything. I mean, what the hell is a 63-year-old man doing podcasts and shit? I don't have a degree. Doing videos, and I'm working on AutoCAD and getting into manufacturing and looking at 3D. I mean, come on. Started with me. You want to change anything about your life, anything about your work life, about your success rate. What do you know about your job? What do you actually know that's going to, when you walk up to your boss, say, hey, listen, boss, I think I'm worthy of a raise. 3 steps. Just like that, we're back to those 3 steps. And the first step in that, it starts with you. Got to forget about the world. We got to stop thinking about what the world's doing to us and start thinking about how we're dealing with what the world's doing to us. If you're good at life, you're not listening to this. That's just the way it is. You ready for this? I'm not done. Everything in your life that you'll ever succeed starts with you. Starts with the information you take in, the things you learn. Are you ready for this? Let's talk about kids. Oh man. All right, so here's the deal. I'm over there. I'm in a restaurant right now, and it's not just there. I witness it. You witness it quite a bit. Here you are in a restaurant, right? And you're sitting there having your sandwich, or you're eating your. I was drinking a beer and having a burger. That's our Friday night. That's our Friday thing, right? Beer and a burger. And there's a young kid. He's like about 3 or 4, in the booth across away from us. He's got a grandma on one side and a mom on the other. And I'm watching this kid, and this kid is full on fist, arm swinging, trying to smack his grandma in the face, kick in and do it. And I guess what comes to mind for me is, how in the hell would a 4-year-old or a 3-year-old get to that point? And the answer is, it started with the parents. It started with the parents. If you're a grandparent and you have a grandchild who's out of control and doesn't understand the need to conform to certain social requirements, because that's what we're talking about, right? Social requirements. I mean, if you're an adult and you're spinning around yelling in the guy's ear behind you, you're going to get knocked out, right? That's just the way it is. It's not acceptable. How is it that we can actually somehow embrace the idea that that's less troublesome than the burden of telling your kid, sit down, or there's consequences, and then enforcing the consequences? I mean, of course, it's a hell of a lot easier when you do that when the kid is like 3 or 2 or even 1. Maybe here's a crazy idea. Maybe you would start that consistency right away. It's 1, 2, done. 1, 2, done. Right? 1, 2, done. Stop that. Stop that. If you don't stop that, you're going to timeout. Oh, let's go to timeout. Every time. Consistently. Every time. Doesn't matter what it is. If you say, stop that, and then you repeat yourself, the next following statement is an action. It is a decision to take that child and put them in a place that makes them uncomfortable, makes them think about what they did and why they ended up where they did, with no yield. It's not a personal thing. You're not breaking the child's heart. It's not like you're beating them or tying them to the stake. But of course, that's the impression that we often get when people, it's okay, honey, but you can't be that way. Just like your job, just like your choices and where you work and your relationship, everything that you have as far as the interactions with your children starts with you. It starts with you. And how do you change it? Well, there's a number of ways. You just decide that it's not about the relationship as it is about the outcome. If your kid is not compliant, and of course some of those behaviors will go away. I mean, there's no doubt about it. There's some things that will go away, but there's a certain fundamental attitude when children aren't required to hold respect for the world around them. And then of course there's the other side of that, right? If your child isn't inquisitive about the world to the point that his phone is secondary, their phone and their devices are secondary, that starts with you. If you want your children to talk to you, if you want your children to get more connected with you, become more interesting. Starts with you. 3 easy steps. That's all it takes. Knowledge is definitely power. That's the fuel that drives me, drives Sandra. It drives the world. The more knowledge, it's the things you don't know that you should be concerned about. Right? It's the things we don't know that we should be concerned about. Just like it's the things that we haven't done that we should be worried about. It's not the things we're doing. This podcast doesn't equate to anything compared to where I'm going. I'm doing this, but you know what? The big picture is that eventually this is going to change the world. Of course, what's funny is the world doesn't believe that, right? The world doesn't believe that, and the world doesn't have to believe it. That's kind of why I'm here. I showed up here and I said, well, I don't think this is working, so let's go ahead and try something new. I'm going to just try to straight up approach them and say, hey, listen, you can spend all the time in the world looking at social media and everybody else's lives, or you can just spend a little more time looking at your own life. Asking yourself questions. Well, yeah, I know the world's going to shit, and I'm yelling at my neighbors, and I'm watching Trump commercials and Biden or Harris commercials and the election, and oh my God. What do you suppose would happen to your life if you turned all that energy to you, right? If you just decided, screw TikTok, not doing it anymore. Screw Facebook. I'm just done. I'm going to put that time into learning something. Maybe you're not making enough money. Maybe your relationship isn't where it should be. You can spend that time listening to Brene Brown, The Power of Vulnerability. That would change your life. Or at least it changed mine. You have to be ready for it. But think about it. Knowledge is power. You have a supercomputer in your pocket. You can look up anything with AI. I'm telling you, beast mode, right? Talking about what you can do to change your life, to live your best life, to improve it. Go on ChatGPT and learn about that bad boy, because even if you're scared of it, even if you don't think it has any value, I'm going to guarantee those people who stand on the sidelines and don't start using that tool are going to be left behind real quick, because it's just too powerful. It's beyond powerful, right? It starts with you. How do you do that? Well, you got to remind yourself of it. You got to find a reason to do it that's so exciting that you just can't help yourself. I'm doing it because this podcast is important to me. I'm doing it because I'm going to figure out how to do the best videos. I'm going to figure out how to be the best at this. And who else can do it for you? Which is really kind of bringing this whole thing around to a full circle. When I say, well, it starts with you, people, he said it like 400 times. He says it starts with you, it starts with you. Well, that's the truth. It does. And if you change anything, think about anything in your life, you're going to change. The reason you're not changing is because you're afraid of it, or you don't know enough about it. And the worst thing could be is you're afraid to learn enough about it. That's what Sandy and I did. We just decided one day, you know what? I'm tired of mowing lawn. There's got to be something better. And there obviously there is, because I haven't talked to too many guys that say, oh, shit, man, I get all heated up when I mow my lawn. I mean, shit, I can't wait. In fact, the night before Friday night, I can't even sleep. I'm so freaking excited about mowing my lawn. Well, and you do it because you don't know what it's like to wake up on the beach in Miramar, Florida, and spend 6 months there hanging out and walking and having a blast, doing what you're supposed to do when you retire. But just decide to go ahead and do it now. If you're not adding some sort of knowledge to your life, to you, if you're not taking that step every day, you might be making a mistake. What is it that you don't know? Could be the best thing in the world. I mean, are you done with it? Are you tired of it yet? Politics. Let's talk about this for a minute. I want to bring a couple things to your attention. Of course, the political environment that we live in is scarier than shit. Let's just say that. It is scarier than hell. And why do I say that? Well, it's because it's true. We got an army of weirdos running our country, right? We got an army. Not just a couple, not just one or two. Everybody in the entire political arena there's these caricatures of what people used to be. And we get these ideas in our head that if we stand behind someone and we yell and we do all that shit we do, that somehow or another our life is going to get amazingly better. And of course, has it? I mean, how many enemies have you made because of Donald Trump? How many people don't you talk to in your family anymore because of Donald Trump? And yet he hasn't even eaten breakfast at your house, much less picked you off the ground when you were kids because you fell out of the tree. I mean, we think about who we place value in. It starts with you and me. And of course, we've adopted a new battle cry. Oh, we can't change it. I come up, I do podcasts, and I have to add the political side to this because we have to accept responsibility. There has to be some accountability. You know why the political system is so corrupt and polluted? And of course, people say, well, the American government isn't corrupt. I don't know. Let's break this down for you. Talking about back to that other subject about knowledge, right? How is it that a candidate gets elected? Well, as it turns out, some rich people get together and say, hey, listen, I think we should get this guy. And then what happens? Well, he's going to need some money. You got to have advertisers. All right, well, let's do that and pay for campaign workers and all that to put some signs up and do that shit. Yeah, all right, that's a good idea. Good idea. And if without that, of course, you can't be president. I can't be president. I don't have millions of dollars. I don't have a bunch of rich-ass friends willing to give me all their money or just a portion of their money to make me famous and let me be the boss. And there you are throwing your $20 and you're ranting and raving and you're being the perfect mix of race behind the person that's trying to get elected, and you're standing there waving your flags and you almost feel famous, but you're not. You're just like everyone else in the world, and the person you're cheering for ain't going to do shit for you anyway? How can he? Let's just say hypothetically that that's what he is intending to do. How the hell what does he tell all those millionaire donors that gave him all those big chunks of change when he said, well, I'd like to really help you out, but right now I need to worry about why it is that there are Americans living in poverty, why it is that the fentanyl crisis has taken 20,000 people a year. You think you know? Don't think so. Want to change it? Well, decide there's something you can do about it. Term limitations. Go on ChatGPT. This will be a double-edged sword. You get to learn ChatGPT and you get to do something for your country, because I guarantee we haven't done anything besides argue about it for years. Talk about it. Ain't doing nothing about it. Go on ChatGPT and ask it to draft you a letter that says, hey, listen, if you don't give me term limitation proposals before the election and get them passed out before the election, you're fired. Everybody's like, I don't want to, I know it sucks, but I don't want to change anything. I'm not going to change anything. Oh, my God. Who is that? Who is? We got all these groups of people ranting and raving, pissed off, and when they go home at night after they're tired and been sprayed with pepper gas, they're still in the same spot. Starts with you. Let's talk about our obligations to ourself, to this temple that we've been blessed to have. When we come back. All right, so I'm gonna bust out here. Again, this is all tied in, right? So think about it. We literally have the world in our pocket. You do. You have a cell phone that you can reach out to the world. You have ChatGPT. You have applications that will tell you anything, right? You can learn virtually anything. You don't have to have a degree to be an engineer. You just have to learn the tools and demonstrate that you have a full and complete understanding of the principles. And that's where it is, right? And that piece of paper doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything for me when I look at this tool that I've created for jiu-jitsu, and now I'm designing it, I'm going to manufacture. I'm definitely engineering it. I mean, what is an engineer? It's a guy who can put ideas to get to work and then formulate physical elements as a result. Designing it. Some sort of concept or some sort of actual physical thing that didn't exist before. Now it does. It's pretty cool. And I engineered it. If you don't make you the most important person in the world and spend time with you every day, thinking about you, talking to you, getting to know you, falling in love with you, it's going to be really hard for you to make those steps to change anything in your life, anything tangible. I'm here for a good reason. I'm the shit. I mean, you ask me, I'm the shit. I'm a badass old man in the gym. I work out. I think I'm pretty damn good looking. I'm not as good looking as some people, and I'm a little too short. But aside from that, I'll tell you what, I got some swag. If you're not powered up from that standpoint, if you're not powered up with that idea in your head, that's where you have to start. Because everything you do in life, everything, success or failure, begins with you having the energy, desire, and the education or the excitement and the knowledge to do it. And of course, you have that supercomputer. What can't you do? I work out. I'm learning jiu-jitsu. I've got a black belt in Kempo karate, but I also do jiu-jitsu. And I'm learning jiu-jitsu. I've never been to a jiu-jitsu class. I wrestled with a few guys who know it. And of course, I study it quite a bit on YouTube. And of course, that's how you become good. It isn't going to matter to some guy on the mat whether I've got a black belt or a green belt if I beat him. If I have movements and I have skills that he's like, wow, that's cool. And of course, here is the fundamental ticket. When I say it starts with you, what I'm talking about here is really, really important. It's critical. In order for you to do the best for yourself and for those around you, you have to be able to choose and decipher what it is, what choices actually fit who you are. If you're on the right track, you wake up every day and you're nervous, but you're excited, and you're energized about what you're facing. And it's not about where you are so much. It's about where it's taking you, where you're going. What's the next adventure? People say, oh, that's crazy. You can't always be excited. Well, yes, you can. You can always be learning something new. You can always be helping somebody. I tell my son, smart man. My son is one of the smartest men that I've ever met. Way smarter than me. How did he get there? Well, he spent a lot of time. He utilized information, opportunities he had. Has a relatively high stress job, and he spends a lot of time in his head about it. And sometimes he gets up early. And what does he do? He goes down these rabbit holes on these different ideas based on his job and based on the world. And what happens? My son knows himself better than anyone in the world. I know myself better than anyone in the world. And more than that, my tank is full because of it. Think about it, because when it comes down to it, it starts with you. We're going to wrap this bad boy up. We'll run down the list on this. Maybe by the time you get done, here it is. It's the 3 steps, real quick and easy. All right, here's the 3 steps. I promised that I would give you something that would allow you to never have to listen to another one of these, and it's simple. 3 steps. You got to pick it. You got to get excited about it, and then the action comes on its own. How do you do that? You have to pick it. You have to write something. You have to put something in your life, inject something into your life that you are responsible for, that you are accountable to every single day. And in most cases, what that's going to take is you're going to have to look at it. Get you a dry erase marker. Go to Walmart, buy a pack of them. Put one in your toothbrush holder. Tomorrow morning when you get up, or tonight before you go to bed, write something that you're going to do. I want to lose 20 pounds. I'm tired of walking around looking like this. I'm tired of my clothes fitting too tight. I'm tired of being out of breath. Whatever you pick, it has to be about you, and it should inspire you in some way. Write that thing on that mirror with that dry erase marker. And then go through your day and keep that idea in your mind. And at night, when you brush your teeth again, look up at that mirror and put a number by that thing that you were going to do. And you can put probably up to 3. But 3 things going on: be a better employee, put myself in a position to earn more money so that I can pay my bills off and become debt-free. I guarantee if you consistently do that, if you consistently build that story around that thing you write on that mirror, before you know it, you're going to be like, damn, oh, your best life defined dude was right. I'm living for it, loving it. Hey, listen, guys, I really appreciate you showing up every day. I'm going to be here. I'm not changing it because it's working for me. Look for the book. Don't forget to check me out on Podbean. I do morning coffee. I'm all over the place. Blessings until next time. My name is Chris Jaquez, and this is Your Best Life Defined. Have a wonderful day.